Happiness is not the goal. Let that sink in. This world tells you to chase happiness at all costs. But here's the truth. Happiness is fleeting. It's just one of the spectrum of emotions. And it's not the purpose of your life. Here's what's the ultimate goal, and you won't like what you hear. If you've ever wondered why life is so hard, why pain never seems to end, this video is for you. By the end of this, you'll see suffering in a whole new way, not as a curse, but as a gift. Before we dive in, hit like, subscribe to our channel, and share this message with someone who's struggling. Let's shift the way we see suffering together. The world sells you a lie. Happiness is the ultimate goal. Every ad, every movie, every social media post screams at you to chase it. But have you ever stopped to think about what happens when you catch it? Happiness is like a vapor. It's here one moment and gone the next. You spend your life chasing it, but it never truly satisfies. Why? Because happiness is a surface emotion. It's temporary, and you weren't made for something so shallow. Suffering, on the other hand, has depth. It has meaning. It transforms you in ways happiness never can. When you suffer, you grow. You learn. You draw closer to God. Suffering breaks you open. It strips away the distractions, the pride, and the noise of the world. It forces you to face yourself and to face God. And in that breaking, you find purpose. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. Think about it. A seed has to break before it can grow. Muscles have to tear before they get stronger. And your spirit, it's no different. Suffering stretches you, refines you, and prepares you for what's next. Without it, you stay the same, stuck, shallow. When life is easy, it's tempting to forget God. You rely on yourself, on your comfort, on the illusion of control. But suffering changes that. In your lowest moments, you realize your need for Him. And in those moments, He meets you. He comforts you. He carries you. Suffering doesn't just change you. It changes how you see others. It softens your heart, makes you more compassionate, more understanding. When you've walked through pain, you recognize it in others. And instead of judging, you love. Instead of ignoring, you help. That's the power of suffering. The Bible doesn't shy away from suffering. In fact, it highlights it. Over and over, God shows us that suffering is part of His plan, not to harm us, but to shape us. Look at Jesus. He didn't come to live a life of comfort. He came to suffer, to sacrifice, to show us that pain has purpose. Through His suffering, we have salvation. His pain brought redemption. His sacrifice brought life. If Jesus embraced suffering, why should we expect to avoid it? The Apostle Paul faced beatings, imprisonment, shipwrecks, and rejection. Yet he wrote, "We rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope." Paul understood that suffering wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something greater. Suffering isn't easy, but it's meaningful. Here's how you can embrace it and find purpose in the pain. Stop seeing suffering as a curse. Start seeing it as a refining fire, a tool God uses to shape you. When you change how you see suffering, you change how you experience it. You don't have to carry the pain alone. Bring it to God. Cry out to Him. Trust that He's working, even when you can't see it. God doesn't promise to remove the fire. He promises to walk through it with you. Suffering isn't just about you. It equips you to help others. Use your pain to bring hope, healing, and encouragement. When you serve others, your suffering gains purpose. Your pain becomes someone else's lifeline. Happiness isn't bad. It's just not enough. It's a moment, not a meaning. True fulfillment comes from something deeper: faith, purpose, and growth. Don't chase happiness. Chase meaning. Chase purpose. Chase God, and let the rest follow. Suffering is part of life, but it's not the end. It's the path to growth, the doorway to purpose, the foundation of faith. Embrace it. Learn from it. Let it refine you. Like this video if you found meaning in the struggle. Share it with someone who needs encouragement. and subscribe for more messages of hope, truth, and purpose. Suffering shapes you. Purpose guides you. Faith sustains you. Trust the process.